An NFL insider saying Lamar Jackson will most likely be traded soon? Just hearing that sounds insane. For years, it felt impossible to imagine Lamar playing anywhere other than with the Baltimore Ravens. But now, this conversation is starting to get very real around the NFL, and honestly, the more details that start coming out behind the scenes, the more concerning this situation looks. Because there's one part of this story that may explain why so many people around the league suddenly believe something much bigger is happening. Between Lamar Jackson and Baltimore right now, this completely changed the mood around the Ravens. For years, nobody seriously imagined Lamar Jackson playing anywhere outside Baltimore. He became the face of the franchise, the leader of the offense, and the most important player on the team. But now NFL insider Jason La Canfora dropped a statement that caught a lot of people off guard. According to him, Lamar most likely will be traded prior to 2027. And when something like that comes from someone deeply connected around the NFL, people pay attention immediately. And honestly, what makes this even more concerning is that this idea is starting to make sense to people around the league. Negotiations don't seem to be moving, the quarterback market keeps exploding, and Lamar knows exactly how valuable he is right now. We're talking about a two-time MVP who basically carries the entire identity of the Ravens organization on his back. It's hard to imagine him accepting any deal that he feels is below his worth. Another thing that fueled the rumors even more was his absence from some voluntary team activities. Even though they were optional, a lot of people saw it as a possible message to the Ravens front office, especially because Baltimore is going through important offensive changes right now. And honestly, I find it very hard to believe Lamar doesn't understand the kind of attention that creates around the NFL. But this situation becomes even more delicate when you start looking at the Ravens financially. There's a growing feeling around the league that Baltimore may have lost leverage in these negotiations. And once a quarterback at Lamar's level realizes he has the upper hand, the pressure on the organization only gets worse. This might be one of the biggest parts of the entire story. According to Jason La Canfora, a lot of people around the NFL believe the Ravens backed themselves into a very difficult position during negotiations with Lamar Jackson. And things reportedly got worse after the team's recent contract restructure. In trying to solve short-term issues, Baltimore may have created a massive long-term problem. The biggest thing that stood out was the projected salary cap hit for 2027. The Ravens are reportedly looking at a cap number close to $90 million that year, which is absolutely insane even by today's NFL standards. On top of that, Baltimore also lost the ability to control Lamar later through the franchise tag. So around the league, more and more people started feeling like Lamar gained even more power in this entire situation. And honestly, I think this may have been the Ravens' biggest mistake throughout all of this. Because once you hand almost all the leverage to a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, the entire negotiation changes. He knows exactly how important he is to the organization. He knows Baltimore built this team around him, and he also knows replacing a player like him is basically unrealistic. Now the pressure is really starting to build on the Ravens front office, because if they can't solve this soon, Lamar's asking price will probably keep climbing. And the longer this drags out, the more the NFL starts looking at Baltimore as a franchise that may be losing control of its contract situation with its biggest superstar. Even though these were voluntary workouts, Lamar Jackson being absent from OTAs immediately grabbed attention around the NFL, and it wasn't just the absence itself. The timing made everything feel even bigger. The Ravens are going through major offensive adjustments right now, trying to install new ideas with a different coaching staff. So when the face of the franchise isn't there, people naturally start talking. According to Jason La Canfora, several people around the league viewed it as a possible message to the Ravens front office. Almost like Lamar was making it clear he's unhappy with the current contract situation. And honestly, that's always the way these situations get interpreted whenever there's tension between a franchise and its quarterback. Especially when we're talking about someone who knows how much every move he makes gets magnified across the NFL. At the same time, some people tried to calm things down. Adam Schefter from ESPN said he wasn't overly concerned about Lamar missing workouts. Meanwhile, coach Jesse Minter said he expected Lamar back soon. But honestly, when different insiders start reading the same situation in completely different ways, it usually means there's clearly something happening behind the scenes. And that's exactly why the pressure keeps growing in Baltimore right now. Because if Lamar continues to stay away while negotiations remain stalled, the rumors are only going to get louder. And in the NFL, once people start sensing tension between a franchise quarterback and the organization, trade speculation escalates very quickly. Another thing spreading quickly around the league is the amount of money it may take to keep Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. According to Jason La Canfora, there's a growing belief that the Ravens may only solve this situation by offering another massive contract extension. And we're not talking about a normal deal here. The conversation is already moving toward numbers above $250 million fully guaranteed. And honestly, when you look at today's quarterback market, it's easy to understand why Lamar might ask for that. Every time an elite quarterback signs a new contract, the market jumps again. And Lamar isn't just another quarterback. We're talking about a two-time MVP, one of the most explosive players in football, and someone who completely changed the way the Ravens play offense. But this is where Baltimore faces a massive dilemma. Paying that kind of money would basically reshape the franchise financially for years. At the same time, letting Lamar walk could be even more devastating. Honestly, I think that's exactly where the Ravens got stuck, because every option from this point forward feels dangerous. And while no decision gets finalized, the tension behind the scenes keeps growing. Because the longer this drags on without a deal, the more leverage Lamar gains. Around the NFL, there are already people who believe Baltimore may eventually have to accept huge demands just to avoid this entire situation turning into a historic breakup between superstar quarterback and franchise. If you're enjoying this breakdown, smash that like button to help the purple flock grow. Up to this point, the entire conversation has centered around voluntary activities. But there's one date that people around the NFL are watching very closely now: the Ravens' mandatory minicamp. Because that changes everything. This is no longer optional attendance. This is where showing up actually starts carrying real weight for the organization. The locker room and the entire narrative surrounding the team. Around the league, many people believe this will be the real test to measure the level of tension between Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. If Lamar shows up normally, some of the rumors calm down. But if he stays away even during mandatory minicamp, the entire situation changes dramatically. And honestly, that's when the trade conversation would start, becoming much more serious around the NFL. What makes this even more delicate is the fact that Baltimore is already under huge pressure to get back to the Super Bowl. This team is still talented, still dangerous, and fully believes it's in a championship window right now. But at the same time, this entire contract situation is starting to create a heavy atmosphere around the franchise at the exact moment the focus should be entirely on football, and that's why the next few weeks could end up defining a lot about the future of the Ravens. Because if this situation keeps escalating, these rumors will stop feeling like speculation and start becoming a real concern inside the organization. And when something like that happens with a quarterback as important as Lamar Jackson, the entire NFL starts watching closely to see what happens next. And honestly, the fact that there's even a serious conversation about Lamar Jackson potentially leaving the Baltimore Ravens tells you how much tension has started building in Baltimore. We're talking about the player who became the entire identity of this franchise over the last several years. Now the big question is how far this situation can actually go. Because the longer things drag on without a deal, the louder the rumors get around the NFL. And if this drama keeps getting worse, a lot could change for the Ravens moving forward. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Lamar Jackson could really end up getting traded, or will Baltimore figure this out before it reaches that point? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I really want to know what you think about this whole situation. And if you're a true Ravens fan and love keeping up with everything happening around the team, don't leave this video without sharing it with a friend who's just as passionate. They're definitely going to enjoy this. See those videos on your screen right now? I picked the first one especially for you, and the other is recommended by YouTube. Go check them out and I'll see you in the next video.